Welcome back to Happy Chat Day. So, what can you afford? You see, I'm a person of priority. I wasn't always, I had my moments of spending what I hadn't got. I used to drink a lot. And when it come to a point that I had no money, the bar would sub me money so I could drink more. And so I would owe the bar money. And every time that I would get money and go back and I'd pay it and I'd go drinking again. But I'd always think about it. I'd always think about how I let myself down and how I didn't respect who I was being in valuing myself at such a low way because I was wasting the money. I was wasting myself, and yet I'd look for more to waste. And so I would look at myself and think, you are a fool. And now, whenever I was paying the money back, I'd be thinking, well, that could be money that I had right now. I had it. I didn't have to let it go, but I did to pay my debt because I was foolish. Now, it wasn't a thing that I was fond of doing or I done often, but I done it. Doing it once is like doing it a million times, if that's what it takes to learn. And so, whatever amount of times I done it, I would observe it because there was a learning. As satisfying as it felt when I was drunk, when my conscious state wasn't fully aware of what I was doing, tricking me into a way of feeling when I was better in who I was, for when I had that money. And so when I get the money and I'd feel better in who I was, I'd start to think back, well, I've got to pay for this. And so then I would start to feel shitty about what I'd done. And when I'd pay it, I'd feel a bit like at least that's out of the way. I don't need that for that to happen again. That was a mistake that I had to fix. And so now I need to choose wiser. And it just didn't happen. But my conscious awareness of it and keeping my observation of what I was doing when I would drink kept me away from doing it more. And so through time, what I found is that I would stop doing it, that I'd stop drinking, that I'd stop needing money for this happening that wasn't beneficial to me in any way whatsoever. And I got into a way of being in the sense of feeling that it was a way to socialize, that I needed it. But how it came about was that I was hiding away from my feelings because I would see people around me hurt and in destruction, and I would try to help, but it only left a burden on me. And so I would drink it away, but it would never go away. I still had to deal with it. And so when it came to a point where I was making mistakes, um, getting things that I couldn't afford through other people, I was starting to rely on other people, relying on the bar to sub me money so I could drink. Even when I look at it now, I just think, like, how could I lower myself? I'm actually disgusted, even when I'm talking about it now, of how I was in that time and how I let myself be so disgusting. But I was. And no matter what I was observing, I was still being disgusting in who I was by looking for that support of others, for something that wasn't benefiting me. And so, as that passed, and I learned to deal with my emotions, deal with my thoughts. Now, let's be clear, this wasn't something that I didn't understand. I understood it very well. I understood how my emotions worked, how my thoughts, feelings, everything worked, and how to control them. But I was caught by the world outside of me, by the people outside of me, in the illusion that I needed, a drink, that I needed to socialize with these people. And I was far from the truth. I found that when I would see where I could go to a bar and be sober and see other people already drinking and observe their mentality. And I would think to myself, am I like this? And then I would start to think, I'm probably fucking worse. And it probably was. Um, and it was horrible to see. It was horrible to observe people in with their masks on, yet there would be cracks in their masks where some truth would come out. I would start to see, like, myself, and from what I would remember of when I'd be drinking, sin, it it's not a nice scene. It comes across as disturbing. And while all along it gives off a bad reflection of the truth. And what you're seeing is somebody that's hurt, just looking for a way out, to feel better, running from whatever's going on in here, in the mind, and how they're feeling in here about what's going on in here. And as I say, I knew all this. There's many of things I studied to learn about who I was, but I was still caught by the real world, or the reality of the world outside of me. And so that magnetism would draw me to alcohol so I could run away from who was in here. And if it wasn't alcohol, it was drugs. Cannabis was my love drug, I would say. And so even then, I would drink and smoke together. And I seen people didn't like the fact if they seen me smoking, they would just say things behind my back about being a druggie and stupid things. And if they really thought about it, they had no right to call anybody a druggie in what they were doing themselves. But it is what it is. Wasn't that bothered by it. And I suppose you weren't, it was seen as illegal. What people don't understand is that when I smoke weed, I wasn't smoking it illegally. I was smoking it legal. Should I say lawfully? Not legal at all. Nothing to do with the legal system. I smoke my weed lawfully. And that's another story that you won't understand while you're in the system that you're in, the legal system, that helps create this world of an illusion. So we're attracted to the things outside of us. And so anyway, I learned to not to go out, like as anybody, I would get attracted to things. I love new gadgets. It's an illusion though, and I know it's an illusion. So what I always found when I was growing up, that I'd want it. And I'd wind until I got it. And if I didn't get it, I'd keep winding. And I would do my utmost to get it, no matter what it took. I guess in a way it gave me some drive. And so it was always like that. And now if I find something that I'm attracted to, I know I'll get it. I know I can get it, no matter what it is. And it's not that I could not have the money. I could see an item and not be able to afford it. But that's not how I see it. If I want it enough, I'll become able to afford it. There's a way around everything. And so I don't think that I'm not going to have it because I can't afford it. I know I'm going to have it because I want it. So I'll make my way to get it. Where I find that I don't get caught up on that way of feeling is, right, well, I can't afford it, but I could get a lend of money off someone here, and I could get money here, and I could get it then, and I'll just pay them back. I don't do that. As I say, I've done that with alcohol, and I was disgusted with myself. Even now, when I talk about it, I'm disgusted about that person that I was. I'm not disgusted in who I am. That's not who I am. That's who I was. And so now what I find is, I know I'll get it. I'll make a way to get it. I'll create some form or way to get the money so I can get the item, whatever it may be. And it doesn't matter what it is or what the value it is. Whether it be £10 or £1 billion, there'll still be a way that I can get it. It's just about how. And that's the fun side of it all, finding the way. Because I know when I get it, well, how long is that feeling going to last? You see, I've got to be happy about being in here, happy on the search to get it. Because I know when I pay for it and I've played with it or whatever for a while, that the value of it's going to disappear. I'm not talking about the price, I'm talking about the value, that how I valued it in my feelings towards it. So when I'm searching and working a plan out to get the funding to get whatever it is that I want, that I desire, I'm already focused on them feelings. I'm already thinking, well, is it going to be worth it? Even though I'm going for it. And I know it's probably not. So I'm already thinking, right, I'll play with it for about how long. So I've got to be aware that after so many weeks that I'm going to start deteriorating in the value of how I feel towards it. And so before I've even got it, I'm thinking about losing it. So I know when I spend the money, and in the same way as the money, so say it was £1 billion, I'm just putting a high stake at it so you can understand the feeling. And you spend £1 billion and you're only going to like this thing for about a week. Well, I'm thinking about that £1 billion. About, right, I'm going to create £1 billion, but I'm going to lose it. I'm only creating it so I can lose it. Or otherwise there's no need for it. I'm only creating it so I can move it on to elsewhere. With the item, I'm going to lose it as well and how I feel about it. Now, can the item be moved on elsewhere? Can I resell it when I'm done with it? What if it breaks? Can I fix it? I'd be thinking all the possibilities of the things that will go wrong as I move forward towards getting the money to purchase this item. And so when I have the £1 billion, I'll purchase it. I'll be happy spending the money and moving it on. I'll be happy with the item. If the item breaks, I'll still be happy that I got to use it. I got to create the money that to purchase this, and I got to use this that was valued at such a price. And so what I get to show myself is that I can do these things, that nothing's impossible, as nothing is. If I believe in it enough and I want it enough, then it will be. And it's all about having that trust and faith that it will be. And when you do have that, you're guided. You don't just think these things up and think, oh, well, I know it already. You don't. You get the vibration, what you want, and you keep on that vibration. And through that vibration, what you will find is the Almighty will come to you with thoughts and feelings that will direct you in a way that you create that £1 billion so you could purchase that item. But there's no reason for you to have £1 billion if you're not going to do anything with it. So it'd be pointless having £1 billion. So if you just wanted to have £1 billion, what for? Do you need it? You gotta have some logic in what you're doing and how you're thinking. Is it going to benefit you? Can you benefit another? Obviously, I'm not going to spend £1 billion on something, but I'm trying to make it in a sense of, well, you're going to lose that. You got to understand whatever you're going to gain, you're going to lose. So Are you going to be willing to lose it? Is what you got to be willing to do. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to last in this world that you see outside of you. So, whether it be £1 or £1 billion, are you going to be able to let that go and be happy that you had that experience? Because that's what it's about, the experience of life. The money's not the issue. The issue is how you think and feel about it. Like how I thought and felt about when I was drinking and how I would get money off another. That support for something that was taking me away from who I was, taking me away from life, destroying life while observing other lives that were being destroyed. And so finding oneself, why you do the things that you do, having respect for yourself, can bring you the things that you need instead of needing for others to help you find the things that you believe that you need. Well, you don't really need, because normally when you see the things that you think that you need, they're the things that take you away from being who you are. And so when you understand that and start to follow that way of thinking consciously, you get to see why you do what you do. And is it good for you? And when you see it, you're able to come up against it. But if you're not seeing it, you will just carry on doing what you're doing and feeling unfulfilled in what you do. Anyway, this is just a story about me and how I like to view things today compared to a past me. Past me that I would have looked down on. And so if anyone looked down on me, well, it is what it is. I would have done the same. I do the same when I look back at myself. How I let myself go and how I let myself be in such a way that felt needy or looked like it was needy. It probably was needy. And so to move from that to where I'm at, well, I can just be happy today. I can be more than happy that I'm not that I was. That I moved from that person. I left that person behind and became someone else. Someone better. And that's something I try to do every day. To improve in who I am. I'm not always happy. I do have things that stress me out, but when I'm stressed, I look at that stress, I welcome it, because I know it's going to make me stronger. So it's a thing that may be seen at the beginning as something that is dark, but it's beautiful, because as you advance in who you are and you look back on who you were, you start realizing that you've become someone better. As long as you're observing yourself to improve in who you are, then the stress becomes something beautiful. Hopefully this can help you in some form or another, like it's helped me. And move forward in who you are and become better in who you are each and every day, each and every moment. It's not always easy. It's not easy at all. But that's the challenge. You got to love the challenge. And when you learn to love the challenge, it becomes a happy life. It's not always easy, but it's joyful. The hard times are the good times. And you just, when you think you're in the good times, you're running into the hard times. It's just a spin off of the hard times. And that's the way the world is. You've just got to enjoy the hard times because it gets better and better each and every moment. As long as you stay consciously aware of who you are. This is Happy Chapa. Love and peace.